Tara George joins us. She's a Festata. What is a Festata?
So it is a woman that is a committee member. So we have every 5 years, you're able to cycle on and off, and you're able to serve with that same group of people every year. And it's that committee that is responsible for putting on this year's feast.
Now, what's different this year, 2024, from previous years?
This is the first year that the club, since the club amended its bylaws, to have women serve on the committee.
Now, is that a revolutionary idea, or tell us more about that?
So we're an older organization. We've been around for 108 years, and the club has evolved during that time through many different changes. In 1998, the club amended its bylaws to allow men that trace their lineage through their mother's line to serve as a Festado. Prior to 1998, you had to trace your lineage through your father's line. So this was a similar change to that about 26 years later. In January of this year, myself and 11 other women submitted applications to the club to get the issue on the table. And then the club had to go through their protocols and their processes based on the bylaws. And then the club voted, I think it was April 28th, and the bylaw change passed. So now any person of Madeiran heritage is allowed to serve as a Festado if you're a man and a Festata if you're a woman.
What did you learn from the entire experience?
We are all family there. I've been there for 25 years. And so I think a lot of the club members didn't realize that there were so many women that had been working there for years that really wanted a more integral and a more hands-on approach. Like I said, I've been there since I was 17 years old. This year, being a Festata, I have definitely had a more hands-on approach. In prior years, I usually show up the week before. We start cleaning out our baraka. We make 400 or 300 gallons of sangria, which I'll be doing when I leave here this evening. But I'm not, working on, organizing things, helping with the parade, helping, order T-shirts and do those types of things. So that's been the change for a lot of women. There's 34 of us serving, and we've all really played a role in having this feast go forward.
And yet many women have been working hard for decades.
Yes.
That is very, very interesting. And how do you now look forward to the future with a brand new board?
I think it's going to be wonderful. As a Festata, I've gone to General Assembly meetings that they have every month. I'm learning how the club operates. I've been to a Board of Directors meeting. I've been to a steering committee meeting. And it's just, for me, it's learning how the club works. Like I said, I've been there for 25 years, but I know very little about how the club and its day-to-day operations. So you're starting to see more and more Festatas go to these meetings, and we're all just trying to learn how the club works.
As a child, do you remember seeing the parade?
I do.
What attracted you to the parade? What do you remember?
I think the diversity, there was always like a lot of fun acts, definitely throwing of the candy as a child and running out off the sidewalk and my grandmother screaming at me was
well, of course.
a good memory. But I think the parade has always been, it's like the shining moment of the feast. It's like the last thing that we do that is this large event on the fourth day of the feast. And I'm very excited for this year's parade.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute, but first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. Here we are at the iconic butcher shop with Joe Pinaretta, the founder. Well, how did you start this business, Joe?
Well, I was working for somebody else, and I wasn't very happy because I started working for myself very young. And then I decided to open a butcher shop.
Just like that?
Just like that. And then we opened like 42 years ago. And now we are where we are. We're still small, but we got a big heart. We take good care of our customers. And as you see it, that's a small place, but has a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
We have wines, we have beers, we have cheeses, we have olive oils. We have a lot of good prime rib, good stuff. And we do a lot of cooking for anything, for special occasions, where you name it, we make it.
Your comments are really important to us, so comment below because we really want to know what you're thinking here at The Phil Show Now. Now, back to the amazing discussion on The Phil Show Now. It's like a love train. Mm-hmm. It is so beautiful, and the energy is, how would you describe the energy of the feast?
Well, from someone that works there, not someone that generally goes to the feast, because I'm always in my booth, it's just energizing. I mean, I have been down there every day for the last 2-3 weeks. I'm a full-time attorney, and I'm tired, but we just keep going, and I can't imagine my life not being there. I always say that, like, the first Sunday in August, I know where I'll always be. So there's just such a sense of belonging. There's a sense of family down there. I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings, and I have, like, this whole adopted family because of my involvement down there. And Tony and I have known each other, in passing. He works in a different booth than I do. But since I've gone on the committee, we've gotten extremely close. Our group that have been working together, we've become a family. We were talking about it last night, that it's going to be over on Monday and we're going to miss one another. So it really is just a really tight-knit second family.
And what does that connection that you just talked about, what does it mean to this worldwide renowned Madeiran event? What does it mean to have that connection?
It's so important. I mean, when you think about it, we've been putting this on for 108 years.
Amazing.
The Madeiran community is probably one of the smaller communities, right? A lot of people are from, the mainland or the continent or from the Azores. We are a very small group of people, and we managed to put this on year after year.
Even more powerful that a small group is now attracting attention from all over the globe. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You are an ambassador of goodwill, aren't you?
We are, and we do a lot. We don't just put on this feast.
What do you do?
They donated to some orphanages in Madeira when Tony and our club president, Tim Rodericks, were in Madeira. They provided personal hygiene products. They provided a monetary donation. They went to both orphanages. We provide tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships to local high school students. We also started a vocational award. So for those students that are coming out of the vocational schools that need to get their journeyman's license or tools or licenses, they also are eligible to apply for, an award to help them move forward in their trade. So the feast is about this amazing event, 4 days, a parade. It's like the high school reunion of New Bedford, right? It's where you see everybody.
For sure.
But there's also so much that we do. We donate turkeys and provisions for Thanksgiving dinners, and we really are active in the community. And to me, that's what the feast is about as well.
Tara, how do you prepare the next generation to become a festera or what is the other one?
Festeiro.
Yes.
Well, when you go down to the grounds, you're going to see club members, festeiros with their children.
That's it.
We were putting up arches, and one of the guys that's on my committee, he had his 2 young children, I think both under the age of 10, helping.
Yep.
And so I started late in life. I was 17 when I started working at the feast. But the family that I work with, those kids, they were there, at 6 months, 9 months, 2 years old. So it's really about family. You see entire families down there, and you grow up on those feast grounds. Mm-hmm. So it's just it's just a given that you then serve, and you continue what, your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents started.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute. But first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show Now. Thank you so much. Let me thank the good folks at iGreen Landscape, your one-stop solution for your residential and commercial property management. Whether it's snowing or whether you're mowing, let Team iGreen handle your landscape and hardscape year-round. From spring cleanups to commercial snow management, I recommend the good folks at iGreen Landscape. Call for your complimentary consultation today. Enrich us. I want you to reach down and pick out one of your most favorite feasts in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about why it was your favorite feast that year, or what it was about the feast that really made you feel proud.
It's hard to give you just one because there's so many good memories from all of them, but I think the 100th celebration in 2014, when every man that was a club member at the time was able to serve because it was an anniversary year, and to see all, I don't know if it was like 200 members coming in, and just the amount of work that went on and the amount of people that were down there, it was definitely all hands on deck, and there was a lot of people there. And the family that I work with, everyone was there for that. People came home from far away to be there at the feast.
How do you keep culture and language and customs going from one generation to the next, and how do you keep them exciting and alive for each generation?
It's important. I do not speak Portuguese well. My grandparents spoke it fluently. My father speaks it. I didn't want to learn it. And now in my later, years in life, I've gone to Portuguese school and I've gone online to try and learn Portuguese. I've traveled to Madeira and to the mainland. Mm-hmm. I think you have to teach your kids, and I really wish my parents would have said, you're going to learn it. But one of my favorite dishes at the feast is mil frites. It's fried cornmeal with kale and some seasoning and garlic. And I think I love it so much because my vovó used to make it.
Oh,
and I have memories standing at the stove, making that with her.
Oh, absolutely. That's the connection I'm talking about, Tara.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the nucleus, the energy, the heart of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Absolutely.
What about the rest of the parade? Is it true that you have to be Portuguese to be in it, or no?
No.
All right. What other misinformation is there?
Well, this year, Tony and I and the rest of the committee decided that we wanted to bring in two major elements, a more Portuguese element and a local element. So we have a lot of local organizations that are going to be marching in the parade, and then we have a lot of folkloric groups, one from New Bedford, one from Pawtucket, that are going to be marching just to have, that Portuguese connection, and then the usual groups that are always there. I won't get into the whole list because we're finalizing that right now. Right. But you're going to see a very local connection. We thought it was really important to bring in the local organizations, really showcase New Bedford and all that is wonderful here, and also to highlight, the Portuguese culture, not just the Madeiran Portuguese culture.
Mm-hmm. What legends of the Portuguese culture do you think are important for people to know? You had great sailors.
Yes.
You've had so many heroes of the Portuguese culture. What one legend stands out?
Well, I'd probably say Vasco da Gama, given the fact that he was, the one that discovered different areas of the world. If you go into Lisbon, he's revered there. And I think, too, the Portuguese culture, we have a reputation for being hard workers. Whether you are, a mason or whether you're a doctor, I was raised by, in part by my grandparents, and they always said, the family motto was, whatever you do, do it well. And so I was raised with that motto. I was raised that you work hard, you just keep pushing. And I think the feast is an amazing testament to that, because we're there pushing through, getting the arches up, picking the greens, getting the flowers and the lights up. We're going to make 300 plus gallons of sangria, like I said, tonight. We've got today and tomorrow and then a little bit of Thursday, but we're getting it done.
Have you ever heard Dean Martin sing about the little old winemaker, me?
No, I have not. I'll have to look it up.
What else are you going to drink at the feast?
Of course, Madeira wine. I work in the Madeira wine stand. And then we have sangria that we make, homemade. The feast this year is going to have, obviously, Budweiser, Bud Light. They're going to have a whole host of, we have a full bar. We're going to have seltzers, hard iced teas. And then, of course, Sumal, which is the Portuguese kind of like soda. We have an orange and passion fruit and pineapple, and then your regular water and stuff.
More of this amazing discussion in a minute, but first, please like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. You can now watch The Phil Show whenever you'd like. Like, follow, and share The Phil Show now. And catch us wherever you catch your favorite podcasts. Like, follow, and please share The Phil Show now with a friend. The Phil Show now. If you're ready to finally make your biggest dreams a reality, let my friend Jared Methia at Milestone Mortgage Solutions get you your next mortgage or your next home loan. Jared is a trusted local loan officer who works with some of the most reputable companies. Jared reminds me if you're a first-time home buyer or maybe you're looking to refinance. He says, go to him. And I, too, recommend Jared Methia, providing you with a stress-free experience. Call Jared today for a competitive rate, for quick approvals, and for one-of-a-kind personalized service. That's Jared Methia at Milestone Mortgage Solutions. And how about foods? Which ones, other than the ones that your grandmother reminded you of, what are your favorites?
Love malasadas. They're definitely a treat.
Absolutely.
And
what's the secret? There has to be a secret to those malasadas because they become addictive.
They do. They're warm and they're sugary, and you get the bag and you can't wait to rip into them.
All right.
But the malasadas are great. Linguiça. We're going to have, hamburgers, hot dogs. We do a wonderful thing on Saturday with Kids Day where we provide meals for kids, and we do half-price meals for seniors in the pavilion. So we do have the full kitchen in the pavilion where they will have, casurla and like a sit-down meal where you can go through the line, get roasted potatoes, casurla, sit down, bacalhau, have dinner with your family sitting in the pavilion. That's always a highlight too, being able to sit down for an hour and just kind of take in the scene.
So this is much more than just a place to meet and eat and drink. When you see the children and when you see the grandparents and the families enjoying all of the fares that you have there, it brings it all home, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And it shows you the power of a beautiful ethnicity and culture and the diversity that you bring to the community.
Absolutely. I'm very proud to be Madeiran. Very, very proud. And very proud of what we do down there.
All right, here I am. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've never heard of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. Tara George, sell me on it.
Well, the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament is 4 days in New Bedford, and it is an opportunity to not only celebrate Madeiran heritage, but to experience it firsthand, whether you're sitting down at the museum enjoying an espresso and listening to traditional fado music, or whether you kind of go up the street to a little bit more of the hustle and bustle of the field. You can cook meat on this large grill. You can sit and have, your food under the grapevines. Enjoy Madeira wine, where it's coming straight out of the wooden barrels. Wow. Only place outside of Madeira that happens. And it's just really a wonderful opportunity to spend some time with your family and your friends and just kind of take it all in.
What didn't I ask you or bring up that you think is important for our audience to know?
I just think that it's really important to understand that the feast is much more than just 4 days for us. It's about family, it's about camaraderie, it's about making sure that our heritage and our tradition carries on. I mean, that is why the feast was, primarily started by the four Manuels. But the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament, it's not just 4 days. It's really just, it's part of our lives, and it's so very important to us.
For all that you have done, you are a hero. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being who you are. And would you share with us the secret to really good sangria?
A lot of love. It's a secret recipe. We make it in 100+ gallon batches. Like, probably couldn't even bring it.
Do you sample it?
Of course we do. We got to make sure it's made right. It's going to be a long night tonight, but it'll be worth it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Like, follow, and please share The Phil Show now with a friend. The Phil Show.